What does marketing mean to you? Can it impact your bottom line? How? Is it really worthwhile investing in this? How do you perceive its impact on your organization's success? Many executive leaders and senior leaders ask these or similar questions. In this session, I will guide you to discover the true value of marketing and its potential impact on your organization. You'll walk away with a deeper understanding of how marketing contributes to your bottom line and departmental goals. By debunking common marketing myths and exploring the power of collaboration, you'll get valuable insight which can drive action for your organization's success. This jam-packed session is one you're going to want to have eager ears and a notebook at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Lyanne Campbell. I am founder and consultant at Blue Dragonfly Marketing Strategies. I'm deeply passionate about marketing and so excited to share some information with you today. And so with that, we're going to start with two questions. And there's no right or wrong answers, just answers. I want you to grab your pen and paper and take a couple of minutes to write down, what does marketing mean to you? And in this example, it's showing how do you perceive marketing success on your credit union. If you're not with a credit union, swap out your business name. How do you perceive marketing's impact on your business's success? So you can pause the video, write it down, then come back. All right, I'm assuming you're back now. So as I reflect on the past year, I am drawn time and again to a conversation I had with an individual who was in charge of marketing for a business. When I asked how their marketing strategies are linked to their corporate goals, I received this response. Marketing is a maintenance function. We put up what we're told to and don't do much else with it. This has been bouncing between my ears, and each time I have to pull up my shocked jaw. This was not a mom and pop business. This was a large organization. Sadly, this sentiment was the first of many in a similar vein. It's been an eye-opening experience over the last 2 years as I've reached out to organizations across the province and the country. So, what is marketing really? Oh, it's the Crayon Kids department. Would you believe this is said in some post-secondary institutions? Personally, I hadn't heard this, but I've had people share it with me as recently as this year, and some who have recalled that even going back decades. Well, what does this mean? Well, to me, it reads that this myth can become a belief, especially when instituted in the mind during formative years. You may even have heard this on your educational journey as well. So, let me tell you a little bit about how a myth can become a truth in our minds. From a white paper published by the Department of Psychology, the Mind and Society Center, and the School of Public Policy at the University of Southern California in 2017, they say there are 5 criteria people employ as they evaluate the truth of a statement. They assess general acceptance by others, gauge the amount of supporting evidence, determine its compatibility with their beliefs, assess the general coherence of the statement, and judge the credibility of the source of information. Okay, so now with this information in hand, let's look deeper at the statement, marketing is the Crayon Kids department. First one, do others believe it, and does it feel familiar? If you think to yourself of the hierarchy of where you place marketing professionals in your organization, where would you say they land? And why is that? And do others there believe it too? So is there supporting evidence, and is it easy to generate or recall? If you don't work in the field of marketing, typically what you see is the end result, which is often the creative elements that are developed. So it can be easy to assume they're the Crayon Kids. So is it compatible with what you believe? And does it make you stumble? Is it difficult to process, or does it feel right? As assumptions frequently go, when only one viewpoint is seen or experienced, biases kick in. It can be easy to jump to the conclusion marketing is just those posters, billboards, or social media posts. So the answer could easily be, yep, this feels right. Does it tell a good story? Does a story flow smoothly? When you're sitting at your desk crunching numbers or reaching out to engage in conversation with clients or prospects to grow the business, you can see in black and white, red, the impact you're making to the bottom line. After all, what can a Facebook post do? Or an event that marketing is arranging? It feels like a cost center and not adding numbers to the bottom line. So, yeah, it makes a good story. They're the crayon kids. Well, does it come from a credible source? And is that source familiar and trustworthy? If this is said by an influential person like a class leader, a professor, or a business person, then many impressionable minds will follow the leader and believe what they say to be the truth. Now, if you were a student in business 20 some years ago and you were first introduced to this statement, what's shaken that belief since then? My goal today is to take you from the limited belief or myth that marketing is the crayon kids department and open your world to the significant impact that marketing can have on your bottom line and departmental goals. Ready? Let's dig in. For fun today, I am going to present a statement and share if it is a myth or a truth. And I'm calling this Marketing Myth Perceptions. Are you ready for the first one? Here we go. Truth or myth? Marketing doesn't influence the bottom line. What do you think? Is that a truth or is that a myth? If you guessed myth, you're right. Let's say that a goal is growth in one or many areas of your business. If you look at a financial statement, you'll see it provides clear growth numbers in black, white, or red. Marketing methods and tactics may not always translate directly onto the financial statement. However, marketing can have an influence on these numbers. You might be wondering how so? Well, marketing can bring the horse to water, so to speak, by creating marketing sourced opportunities. So that Facebook post that drove traffic to your website, where that person looking at it took a desired action, which resulted in an opportunity for your employee to have a conversation, which resulted in an increase in business, absolutely has an impact on the bottom line. Truth or myth? Are you ready for the next one? Marketing can't be measured. What do you think? Is this a truth or is this a myth? Oh, tricky trickster. Truth and myth. Marketers wade in a sea of gray. It can be difficult or daunting when presented with a request to prove the return on investment in marketing when some actions don't have a direct financial number. But it doesn't have to be impossible. There are things that can be measured. So it's a truth because sometimes there is a direct financial number. But sometimes you need to have different ways of measuring to impact that bottom line. Here's a few examples. You can measure or track the website landing page views, conversions, and traffic sources, the number of instances where a meeting is booked as a result of the marketing efforts, the number of instances where marketing has provided internal support to your teams, the engagement in social media or email, and those are just to name a few. Through these measurements, we can see how frequently the message was put in front of the intended audience and the action that was taken. This increases the opportunities for your employees to have conversations with your members or customers, which helps your employees meet their goals and ultimately the goals of your organization. Truth or myth? What do you think? When budget cuts need to happen, marketing is the best choice to red circle. Truth or myth? If you guessed myth, you're right. When times are tough, this is actually when you need to double down on your marketing efforts. When everyone else is making like a recluse spider, that's the time you need to burst free and be in the hearts and minds of your audience. If you reduce your marketing budget, you're creating an opportunity risk. That is, you're creating an unfavorable outcome for your organization because when you want to be considered for a product or service and the customer, client, or member doesn't have you front of mind, they're going to choose the one that is. And if you think this only pertains to new members or clients, you're wrong. This 100% applies to your existing membership and customer base as well. We all know that other businesses are vying for your members' business. And if you go dark and they don't, who do you think is going to be the first in that person's mind? Next, truth and myth coming right up. Okay, so what do you think? The marketing department only does what they are directed to do. Is this a truth or a myth? Another tricky one. It is a myth and a truth. This is a myth because there are some organizations who welcome direction provided by the marketing lead as ways to achieve their corporate goals and priorities. The result in opportunities that may this results, in opportunities that may never have been considered because marketers have knowledge of the marketplace, audiences, trends, economic environment, tools, resources. They got insight in the corporate goals, departmental priorities. They also know about behavioral science, and honestly, the list can go on and on. And others in the organization or in leadership roles just might not have that depth of knowledge. In fact, in a survey completed by McKinsey and Company in October of 2023, they state CEOs who place marketing at the core of their growth strategy are twice as likely to have a greater than 5% annual growth compared with their peers. It's a pretty significant amount. Now, this is also a truth because some organizations have structured their marketing professionals to only take direction based on what the leadership says. In a financial institution, it could be that a leader instructs their marketers to create a mortgage campaign or promote this investment rate, or we need to be on this social media platform, insert whichever one, like Threads. The tough part about this is it's so reactionary. And if your marketers don't have a depth of knowledge as to why these requests come, your marketing can be a lot like a boat without a rudder. It's aimless, it's trying their very best to get to shore, but they're in the middle of a vast ocean and no land in sight. An additional roadblock to this is that many leaders are not deeply trained in the field of marketing. And unfortunately, that belief we spoke about earlier, that marketing is the crayon kids department, can rear its ugly head. And then, when marketers are tasked with proving the value of marketing, they're put in such a tough spot because they may not know what to measure or why. And then, marketing looks like a cost center. It's a true cause and effect story. So, what can be done? Make sure your marketers have the training and support to deepen their business and marketing acumen. I know of many, many individuals who sit in a marketing role who may not have training or experience in marketing, and you can help them. When you invest in your marketers, support them and encourage them, and at some point even put them in an influential position, you open up the world of opportunity you may never have considered. Let's move into our next marketing myth perception. What do you think? Is this a truth or is this a myth? Strategy only comes from executive leadership, not marketing. Oh, this is another truth and myth. So many tricky ones in here. Well, this is a truth because the strategic direction of the organization 1,000,000% needs to come from the board of directors and executive leadership team. It's also a myth because that's not the only strategic direction in an organization. There's also marketing strategy that needs to come into play, and that needs to come from marketing leadership. The value of a strategic marketing plan is that it gives clear direction to ensure that time and money is not wasted on tactics that might not align to the corporate goals, priorities, and values of your organization. Essentially, a marketing strategy eliminates rudderless marketing or marketing that doesn't have a direct line to results. The lack of a clear marketing strategy is one of the most significant causes of inefficiency in marketing for credit unions or business. Okay, next one, truth or myth. This example is a credit union. So 123CU is on insert here. We need to be there too. What do you think? Because they are, we should? Well, if you guessed a myth, you're right. It's interesting to me as to how many times this has come up over the years, whether it be a new social media platform, attending an event, or chasing after a shiny new thing. If you're encouraging your marketing department to jump into this pool, the request needs to be met with a series of questions before it's even considered. Why do we need to be there? What corporate goal will this meet and align with? Is this where our audience is? What will the benefit, short and long term, be of us being there? What are the resources required to effectively make this work? What can we give up to make room to do this? Aside from initial costs, what are the ongoing costs to maintain and be effective? And that includes human resource time. And will this set a precedent for the future? Our next marketing myth perception, truth or myth. What do you think? Oh, this is a good one. Marketing can put that together in no time. What do you think? Truth or myth? Oh, did you guess truth? Well, it is a truth because, sure, anything can be done with a limited amount of time. But I want you to pause for a beat and think about if it's worth it. When you consider project management, there are three pillars: quality, money, and time. If you sacrifice one of those pillars, then the other pillars get hit. So I think of marketing like project management. If you ask for a marketing output but don't give sufficient time, then you must be prepared for an increase in expense or a decrease in quality. So expenses can increase because some or all of the project may need to be outsourced or overtime may need to be put in. And quality could decrease because marketers are handcuffed by the clock and they can't dedicate the deep insights or opportunities that could otherwise have been leveraged. Did you know that a professional 5-minute video can take up to 40 to 50 hours to prepare? That was shared with me. Firsthand experience for me, campaign planning can take between 10 to 15 hours. Social media, several hours a week. Now, I don't want you to get scared about the time commitment. Your marketers are managing that. But I do want you to recognize that to get the outcomes you want to achieve, you've got to give your experts the time to get it done. Our next truth or myth. So suspenseful, isn't it? Now, this is a good one. Marketing is about getting the word out. Little dude here, he's so happy. What do you think? Truth or myth? If you guess truth, you are 100% right. It's totally the truth. A big part about what we do as marketers is helping to educate audiences. We're connecting people with products and services that will help them in their lives. Here's a question. How are you leveraging the marketing knowledge within the area you oversee at your organization? I'm going to walk you through a scenario to help paint this picture. Let's say you're planning to host a special event with your department for your members or customers. You and your team have been meeting for 3 months. You're planning it all out. You've got the venue, guest speaker, you've even got the food. You've got it all covered. Now you just need marketing to do up something pretty to mail or email to your members or clients, and you need it within the next week or two. This is where you're shortchanging the effectiveness of your event. Had you included marketing at the beginning, so 3 months earlier, when you first started to talk about it, you may have learned about a target audience you hadn't considered, different approaches to reaching that target audience, certain positioning that might resonate more with them, words that could make better sense, and ways for your team to help engage in conversation. And that's just to name a few. Would you agree this is a lot more than a pretty invitation? And the result? Possibly thousands of dollars in new money because you've exposed and engaged your audience in a way you might not have considered. By the way, that's a true story example from my personal experience. All right, truth or myth? Marketing can be done well even when divided with other roles. So, what do you think? Truth or myth? It's another tricky trickster, truth and myth. It's a truth because many marketers do it and they get additional support from others within the organization or through outsourcing that support. It's also a myth because oftentimes these roles may not have that support and they're divided with other roles that can impact the focus marketing gets. Often, marketing duties can be backburnered due to the pressing nature of the split role. And this creates so much pressure on your marketing person. The role of marketing has exploded, it's evolved exponentially. With so many fields of practice, it can be so very demanding with pressures put on to excel in all areas of marketing, including advertising, brand management, content management, digital marketing, event marketing, research, communications, social media marketing, strategy, planning, graphic design, procurement, website management, data and insight, analytics, community engagement, public relations, product development, product insight, survey development, just to name a few. That's a lot. Marketing is a big job and it can make a big impact to the bottom line of the organization. As leaders, it's important to understand the complexities involved and provide training, support, and time for your marketing people. It's a tough job to do well without that. Truth or myth? Here's our next one. Oh, this one for sure, right? Marketing does their thing, we do our thing. Life is good. If you guessed myth, you're right. Imagine you're working in a garden and your job is to look after your row, and your row looks amazing. It's flourishing, there isn't a weed in sight. You're so proud of the row you've been hyper focused on. And at last you look up and you look around and you see the garden is being eaten up by insects from the outside in, and the whole garden's in jeopardy. This is what can happen when we don't work together. Your garden can get overtaken and it'll be too late to do anything about it. And you might be thinking, great analogy, Lyanne, we know this, but what does this have to do with marketing? Well, ideally, marketing initiatives should have a direct link to the corporate goals. Now, we're also going to call this your garden. And since you're all working towards the success of the organization, and your goals, or your row in this analogy, are important and impactful to the marketing goals as well. So, what can marketing look like? Well, I'm going to give you a few ideas. While working with marketing, you can extend an invitation to your marketing lead to join a team meeting. You can share your department's annual goals with your marketing lead. Now, this is more than only the financial numbers, although those are important. But this can also include any events you want to host or those you want your team to take part in. It could be the number of referrals you're striving for. It could be about having stronger conversations. Whatever it is, share it. You might get more insights than what you had considered. You could invite your marketing person right at the start when planning an event or tactic, like that example I shared with you. You might not consider the impacts like your marketing person can. You can leverage the marketing collateral that's made available to you. There is a strategic reason plus costs to place an ad, go on the radio, put up that social media post, or build that website landing page. Those are there to help you and your teams have conversations. Use it. Build it into your weekly meetings. And you can also establish a recurring monthly meeting with other team leads. Include marketing and share what's happening within each department. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this handful of marketing myth perceptions that I shared with you today. Next, I'm going to introduce you to something that could potentially be new to you. Now, I want you to perk up and pay attention because you're going to get to experience this today. The mastermind. So, in addition to being a passionate marketer and major credit union advocate, I am also trained in the art of mastermind facilitation. For those who haven't heard of it before, it's a group of like minded leaders like you who come together to collaborate to drive ideas and action. Participation helps clarify goals, create a plan of action, and act on it with support and accountability of this new network. So, in a typical mastermind session, which I run, there would be two people who are in a hot seat. Essentially, being in the hot seat means that all eyes and minds are focused on helping to solve your challenge, and every participant contributes. So, this is what that would look like. In the first 5 minutes, you will give some background and narrow your focus to a clear question, challenge, or problem that you are seeking input on. In the next 5 minutes, that's the clarification. So other group members are going to ask further questions to really make sure they understand the challenge. And then for the next 15 minutes, you'll sit quietly while other group members share how they would solve that problem. This is real magic here because they draw from what they've done, what they've seen, what they haven't seen or done, but what they think could happen. And they draw on the countless hours, days, weeks, and years of training, webinars, trade shows, conferences, meetings, and experiences. And they bring that to the table. And you being in the hot seat gets to draw all that in to help solve your challenge. But it's not just you that benefits in the hot seat, it's everybody else too. Because the members who are contributing are also getting something out of it. Because although it may not be a challenge they're facing in this moment, the fact that they're in a similar job function, have the same types of interests, and a similar role lends to the likelihood they have encountered, will encounter, or may encounter the same situation. There's a lot of note taking that goes on in this. And then in the final 5 minutes, it goes back to you in the hot seat, and you get to speak again and share the ideas that resonated for you and the ones that you want to be held accountable for. So today, we're going to do an abbreviated mastermind session. Okay, here's what we're going to do. So the people, if you're sitting at home and you're alone, or else if you have a group of people with you, that's your mastermind group. So if you're alone, just grab a pen and paper. If you're with a group of people, that's fantastic. Everybody grab a pen and paper. So the hot seat topic will be the same for everyone. So for non-marketers, the question or the challenge you're striving to solve is, how can I leverage marketing at my credit union in my role or department? Now, if you're not at a credit union, substitute your business name in there. If you're a marketer, what can I do to guide and elevate the marketing at my credit union or organization? So you've been listening to clarification for the last 20 or 30 minutes, so we're not going to spend time on that. And we're going to jump right to that 15 minutes solving part. But due to time, we're going to take just 10 minutes and write out how you would solve this problem. There's no wrong answers. Everything is right. So if you're watching this video, hit pause and take some time to answer that question. Okay. So now that you've spent the last 10 minutes solutioning, I want you next to write down your 3 key takeaways that you'll act on. So take a few minutes for this. So, what are the three takeaways from today's Marketing Matters presentation that you will implement at your credit union or organization? All right, assuming that you hit pause and you're rejoining again. So, I hope that you found this to be a very beneficial experience for you. Marketing matters at your organization, and you play a significant role in its success and the success of the goals and objectives of your organization or credit union. I have a list of resources that you can access to help your marketing professionals grow and excel in their role as shown on screen here.